Hello everybody, this is Terry Jeanette with the Tapping Flamingo, and today we're going to be making a boho dangle with these 3 pieces of seashell fragment that I found while beachcombing along the shores of Cocoa Beach, Florida. So I'm getting all my tools out here. I've got my wire cutters, my round nose pliers, my flat nose pliers, of course my seashell fragments, and I'm using 20 gauge copper wire. By the way, you like the little flower my granddaughter brought to me. Alright, so as soon as I can figure out how to undo this wire, I'm going to cut a couple of pieces to start wrapping one of these shell fragments. So basically what I'm planning to do is make links out of these. So I'm going to wire the wire around them and have a loop at each end and then just hang them together with some hemp. Let's look at these shell fragments. You know, most people just leave these on the beach. I like to pick them up. I think they're very interesting. And they kind of have a little bit of a meaning to me. And maybe at the end of this video, I'll leave a little blurb that I've written up that kind of talks about the feeling that I have of what a seashell fragment represents. All right, let's start wiring these up. So I need to have a little bit, quite a bit more on each side of the shell. So I just kind of lay it out and eyeball how much I'm going to need there. And I need 2 pieces of the same size, so cutting 2 pieces here. And then I'm going to put 1 piece of wire on one side and 1 piece of wire on the other side. And I'm just going to kind of fit them into the grooves here. I just need to figure out which groove I want to lay it in. Now for this shell, I'm going to go up a little higher than I normally do. And I'm going to twist about 3 times and draw the wire up. Do the same thing on the other side. Now if I was doing a pendant, I would probably go down a little further on the shell. And once I have those all wrapped and I've drawn them, the wire up, I'm going to put 2 in the front, 2 in the back there, and I'm going to twist some more. Just until I twist probably here about 2 or 3 times until I get to the top. I don't want to go over the top. And I'm going to do that on both sides. Once I have all that done, I bring all 4 of the wires up, and I'm just going to twist them to make one big thick wire. Now it's a little loose here, so I'm going to just take my pliers and carefully twist this wire just to tighten that shell in there. Now we're going to do this same process on the other end of this shell, so we'll have 2 loops, 1 on each end, and it will help to tighten this wire in there. But like I said, if I was making a necklace where I was not making this into a link, I would have gone down further on the shell and it would have been a lot more secure. But it'll be secure once I get it finished wrapped, so I'm not worried about it. So you can tell it's not very secure, but like I said, we're going to fix that. So I'm cutting 2 more pieces of wire, just like I did before, and they need to be the same length. And here's how I'm going to make this secure. I'm going to try to feed that wire underneath the existing wire. I'm going to try to get it to the middle there, bring both of those wires down, and just kind of pull it as tight as you can. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to have 2 wires on one side, 2 on the other, and again, just like I did before, I'm going to twist 2 or 3 times, lay it up on the side of the seashell, and then, oh, I'm sorry, I'm out of frame. Okay, so then I just draw them to the front, twist, the back, twist. Sometimes you just have to finagle this a little bit. You will never do 2 seashells the same way. Okay, once I've got it all done, I'm just going to bring it up to the point, and again, twist them all together to make a loop. So it looks like we can get one more twist before we twist all 4 of them together. So doing 2 on one side, 2 on the other side, and then I will bring all 4 of them up together to twist into one big thick wire. Right, we have that all done, and now I think I probably need to tighten some of this wire up. It gives it a little bit of character besides serving a purpose of securing that shell in there really, really well. Alright, now to make the 2 loops, I can either use this bail maker or my round nose pliers. Let's see, which one do I want to use? Probably my bail makers. Yeah, I think I'm going to use these. When you're doing the wrap, you'll get to the end of all of your wire there, and they're going to be all different sizes. You can cut them all off if you want and tuck them in, or you can just one by one, is how I usually do it, is wrap it around and try to find places to tuck that wire in so it's not going to scratch on anybody that's handling these dangles, or, you know, scratch the wall off or whatever. I just don't like to have wire hanging out. But I have found that it's easier just to do one at a time. And sometimes, like right now, I'm going to click that off because that's a good place to tuck. So while I'm finishing this off, I just kind of wanted to share a few things with you. So my husband and I have 4 adult children and 8 grandchildren. So needless to say, I am quite the busy grandma, or gaga as I'm called. And I'm very limited on where I can actually film with good lighting. So I apologize for my lighting issues. This has been an ongoing battle for me. And also another battle is the audio, because a lot of times we have joyous sounds of children in the background. And again, I apologize for that. So because of all this situation, I tend to film a bunch of videos all at once. And then after I edit them, I schedule them out. And in fact, I actually have things scheduled out to the end of the month, and right now it's mid-month. Not for sure when this is actually going to go up. It may be the end of the month. I have to figure that one out. And honestly, I'll just tell you, I've even got one scheduled as far out as January. And right now we're talking September, I think today's 13th. So I thought I would just share a little bit of behind the scenes activity. Funny thing is, too, sometimes I'll be doing a video with a bunch of chaos going on and my grandkids hanging around and watching, and then I'll go back and do a voiceover. In fact, this one is a voiceover. But you know, I love doing videos and sharing my talent with you, and I love my grandkids too, so I guess you could say I'm having my cake and eating it too. So bear with me. So I'm actually making this boho dangle for a friend of mine. She likes copper. And one thing about this copper, it is going to darken and patina over time, which she likes that kind of boho look. So it's not always going to be shiny. Eventually it's going to kind of, like I said, darken a little bit. She specifically chose copper for the wire. It is said that copper has a lot of healing elements, and she just really liked the idea of that. When I look up the different properties of copper and shell, they complement each other really well. Seashell has a lot of calming, healing energies. And copper is said to bring feelings of positivity, and calmness and clarity. So they work really well together, in my opinion. All done. Now I need to go do some more wrapping on other shells. Okay, seashell fragment number 2, done. But I'm just going to go back and make sure everything is tucked and tightened. You see, you can kind of see through there. I don't want that to happen. Just make sure I get these shells nice and tight so they don't wiggle around and maybe pop out eventually. And like I said, doing this also adds a little character to the shell. There, got it all done. Now I have 2 of them done. Now I got to work on this one. Got to figure out which direction I want this to hang before I start wire wrapping. I want it this way, I could turn it that way, or this way. Decisions. So I have them all done, but you know what? I goofed. One of these should not be a link. I should only have 1 loop on it. But I'll have to figure it out. That's okay. Sometimes that happens. I wanted that one to be at the bottom, and then that would be the bottom, but I guess I'll have to put a tassel or a bead or something. I'm going to put beads in between all these, so I'll have to figure out what color beads I want, what type of beads, and then try to figure out what I'm going to do for the bottom tassel. Alright, so I've decided what I'm going to do, I believe. I took out some beads from my orange peach stash. I thought something using these beads, and then I was going back and forth on these, and I think the darker ones are going to work better, so I'm going to make some beaded links to go in between here. I did crochet a chain stitch 15 and just looped it through there. I'm going to trim these and unravel these and kind of fray them out for a more boho look. But let me go ahead and wire some bead links for these. Okay, I just basically did a simple loop, a wired loop actually, on each end. And they're going to go in between here like this. And I'm going to use some of this hemp to tie all this together. And then, remember, I kind of goofed and I should not have done a link. I should have only had 1 loop on the top, but I did 2. Well, I'm just going to hang this at the bottom. So we'll have something like this. This will be at the bottom. Still can't really see it. Here we go. And that will be our boho dangle. So I've got some hemp, and I'm just going to attach all this together. Start here, and I'm going to tie a couple of pieces. I'm just going to put them through the loops. I want it to be a little loose. I don't want it to be like, well, I don't want it to be tight like that. That's not going to work. I want it actually loose so they'll dangle. Basically just tie it. Here. I want it to be even though. Just tie it like you're tying a shoe loosely. And then tie an overhand knot. And feed that loop up to where you need it and just tighten it. And then I'm just going to take a sharp object and, let's see, like a bead reamer, or you could use a pin, and just ravel this up like this. Get them all frayed out. And then you're going to trim them off once you get them all done like that. Okay, I'm going to finish attaching all these and fraying them out, and I'll show you what they look like when it's done. I've got it all finished. going to go outside and take some pictures of this and put it at the end of the video so you can take a closer look. So I want to show you this up a little close. I actually have video on how I do these sari ribbon wraps. I just use wire and sari ribbon and wrap it all together. And at the bottom here I just dropped a bead, a couple of beads, and wrapped the beads around and hooked it onto the sari ribbon link. By the way, my granddaughter's helping me out a little bit today. Tell me what you think about these boho dangles. Thanks for joining me, and y'all have a great day. This is Terry Jeanette with the Tapping Flamingo signing out for now. Bye-bye.